So now what we're going to do is add, like I said, a bunch of vector shapes. So vector, similar to Illustrator, is made off of math rather than a bunch of tiny little pixels. So we can adjust them, move them around. You'll see. Oh, looks like I haven't done that yet. So I want to combine my skull layers into a folder to make sure we get that. Keep it clean. So I relabeled it skulls. And let's see. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to go to our little circle down here, which is different. Yeah. So this is a shape layer. So a couple things that we need to make sure is that up top, we have shapes, paths, and pixels. For this situation, we want to make sure that we are setting it up to be a path. A couple things we're going to do. We're going to make a couple circles around our flowers. Our flowers are going to be kind of our point of interest for a lot of our circles. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go to the center-ish of that flower. I'm going to click, hold down Alt, because Alt makes it expand from the center. And I'm also going to hold down Shift, so that way it stays proportionate. So I'm going to go kind of around that flower. And it's okay if it's not perfectly centered around that flower to start. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to go to exclude overlapping shapes. So what that means is that I'm basically, the next shape I'm making is basically like cutting out from the first shape. So I'm going to kind of go to the center. You can see it kind of turns into, hold down Alt and Shift. Right, and it's not perfect, and that's okay, because with vector shapes, what we can do is I can actually click and drag. Sorry, I'm going to go to my black arrow, click and drag, so I can have both of those shapes. And I'm going to go up to my alignment. So I'm going to go center vertically, center horizontally. Oops, sorry. I noticed that it jumped really quick. That's because I'm on canvas. I need to switch to selection, so that way it centers it to that selection that I'm on. So center vertically, center horizontally, and now it is good to go. With this, I'm actually going to do 3 circles. Let's kind of center this to this flower a little bit better. So I feel like I'm pretty good there. I'm going to kind of go around the outside of that flower. And now I'm actually going to make 2 more little circles that kind of intersect with the 2 flowers on either side. So I'm going to click and drag over my blue paths. I'm going to hold down Option, which turns into that little plus. I'm going to drag it over. I'm going to resize it. Like I said, so it's kind of a similar-ish shape to that flower over there. And it's the same deal over on that side, so I'm actually just going to take this one again, click and drag over both of the lines. I'm going to drag it over. So it's similar. That looks pretty good. And let's see. I also know, yeah, we're going to keep it there for right now. All right. So the next step is that we're going to go down to our little Pokemon ball. I'm going to hit gradient. And let's go into our, I'm going to click on that little gradient basics. I'm going to do the black and white. So just like we did before, I'm going to change the color. So I'm going to change this black one to, let's do this dark blue, and this white one to like this tannish color. Remember, if I drag this around, it'll adjust how it looks. So I think, oh, pull that out. Wow, that looks pretty good. Hit OK. How does I reverse that? Yeah, I think I like the blue better on top. So I'm going to do that. Hit OK. And I'm going to adjust my opacity to, I don't know, 50. Right, so you can kind of see that there now. All right, so we're going to do a similar thing up here. So I'm going to go again, circle. I'm going to kind of go to the center of that flower, click, drag, but remember hit Alt and Shift. I can make that a little bit bigger now. And so one of the things that, so some of the stuff that's kind of confusing and tricky a little bit is that this little box here is basically saying, how do you want your paths to interact with each other? So combine, subtract, intersect, exclude. So each one is a little bit different. I can, if I'm looking at this, my shapes at the bottom, I can see that I actually messed up a little bit, and that like where these are overlapping, it is cutting out that shape. And so I'm actually going to go in and fix that. So I'm going to click on this, click and drag on this outside shape, and I'm going to actually switch that to combine. So now it adds them together. Do the same thing here. I'm just going to click and drag just this outside line. I'm going to switch it to combine. So now it actually adds those shapes together rather than subtract. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of tricky at first when you're first playing around with these. So let's go up to this circle that I just made. I'm gonna add the same thing. I need to make sure I go here, and I'm gonna exclude overlapping areas. Kind of go to the center, click and drag. I'm gonna hold down Alt and Shift. Like I said, and it's okay if it's not perfectly centered, because I can just take my black arrow, select them both, and then line them up here and here. I'm good to go. I want to make it a little bit, I kind of want this to come in, make a little bit more. So I think I like that a little bit better. And then I'm going to take these, make a copy of it. That's cool there. And drag this. If I hold on Shift, it'll also keep it in a similar like line. So that's cool. So I have all three of those now. And I'm also actually going to add another shape to it as well. In Adobe, there are a bunch of like a library basically of shapes, and so what I'm going to do is go to my circle here. I'm going to, instead of circle blah blah blah, I'm actually going to go to custom shape, and if I go up here, you can see there's a bunch of different stuff. I am going to go down to my flowers, and I'm going to pick, I like this flower the best personally for this, so I'm going to click on that. So now I'm going to be creating that shape in here. With this one, I want to change it to combine shapes. So I'm going to kind of go to the center here. Alt Shift. That's pretty good. Black arrow. Let's see, do I want to put it there? I'm trying to decide. I think that's fine. It'll kind of be like a focal point in there. So I'm going to click black arrow, drag this down. Oop. Black arrow, drag this down. So I'm getting the two circle shapes and then that flower shape. I'm going to do the same thing I did before. Center, center, and that's good there. And then we're going to make sure black arrow again. Now I'm going to select all of those upper set as well as the flower. Gradient, And oh, I can see I messed up there, which I can fix that in a second. We're gonna go here, basic, black and white. Like I said, and you can see on the center one, I didn't have it set as exclude, so I'm gonna have to go back and fix that, which isn't that huge of a deal. So we'll do the black. We're gonna turn to that dark blue again, and then for this light, we're gonna turn it to this cream. Oh, why doesn't it like me? Let's try that again. We're gonna go this dark blue. Cream. Cool, that looks good. Hit OK. And then I reversed it so the dark blue is on top. I just personally like that better. And then I'm going to change my opacity to 50. Looks good. As you can see, remember, like I said, the I kind of messed this line up here, which is not the end of the world. So I can find it, hopefully. And then I need to go back up top, and this time hit exclude overlapping. That's kind of an easy fix. I'm going to take all these and line it up a little bit better to that flower, hopefully. Cool. I'm going to zoom out. You can kind of see it there. Okay. You know, and maybe for the center, maybe I don't do it at 50%. Maybe I bring that up, the center flower up a little bit to like 75 or 80. Actually, it's going to do all of them, which is fine. You could also, if you don't like that look, you could also play around with like, well, maybe I turn it to an overlay, and then at 100%, right? So everybody's is different, right? Like you do you, whatever you kind of like. The idea is that we're kind of, I like that a little better. You know, you're trying to find something that you're happy with, and you know, using the same tool sets. So the next step is kind of doing similar stuff. I'm going to make those same circles, and I'm going to kind of make a whole bunch of circles that kind of go over the top of each of these little flowers. So I'll do the first one, and then I'll use the magic of television to do the rest. So same idea. Ellipse tool. I'm going to go to the center. Alt select. Let's go there. Go up here. Make sure I go to exclude. Out of there. That looks good. And I'm going to probably end up doing 2 or 3 different like kind of setups. So each one will be a little bit different color. And let's do this. So it's cool there. So I'm going to select this. And then instead of, you know, doing it over and over and over again, I'm just going to take this one, drag it. Let me drag it there. I'm pretty cool with that. So I'm going to take these, gradient, and then let's do basics. For this one, I'm actually going to maybe do the red. Okay. And then, I don't know, I can do the blue. Hit OK. Oh, I can tell I forgot to center those, and that's okay. We'll go back and fix that. Hit OK. 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 50. So that has like a similar aesthetic. I'm actually going to go back and fix this. Change this as well to 50. Do normal. Cool. So I'm going to do that. Like I said, I'm going to take these. I'm going to use the magic of television. I'll realign these, but then I'm going to do another set to kind of hit the rest of these flowers. But I'm going to do maybe like blue and cream, or like cream and red just to kind of mix it up so it's not all exactly the same. So when I come back, you'll see that. So you can see I added, one around basically each one of these. Some of the stuff that they did in the original tutorial, they actually added a stroke, a white stroke around all this stuff. I personally didn't love that, but you're more than welcome to do that if you'd like. So I'm going to go here, just add like you can just type it into, we'll say 5. So you can go around and do that same thing. I think you actually can do it all at the same time. So if I hit shift, select all of those, yeah. So I can say, I want them all to have a stroke, weight, 5. Theoretically, did it do it? Not the ones down here. So let's select those. That's just another thing you can kind of add if you wanted to. Once again, not 100% necessary. I didn't love it, but doesn't want to do it on the bottom one. But it would make some of that other stuff, like that flower, pop out a little bit more too. If you dig it, that's your jam, great, go for it. Definitely makes that flower pop a little bit better too. Oh, looks like it didn't do it the way I thought it was going to. So let's fix this one too. Let's just add it since we're doing it to all of them. Cool. So another thing that they added was just kind of a bunch of circles inside of each one of these. So I'm going to start a whole nother set. You got to make sure that you have your black arrow down here. Zoom in, make it a little easier to see. This is kind of where like the tediousness kind of comes in sometimes. So I'm going to just take that here, just resize it. So I'm just going to kind of throw these in each one of these, but then maybe throw another, I don't know, bunch of them all over the place to kind of make it, give it like a scattered star look. Like I said, and this is a whole nother layer. Let's just make a smaller one. Throw that everywhere. Right, and if you don't dig it that way, you can just literally just go back and use your circle tool too, which actually might be easier in this situation. Just throw a bunch, yeah. Just throw a bunch of circles all over the place. All right, and then let's throw those. So call it gradient. Instead of gradient, let's just do a solid color actually. And we'll do this cream. Okay. At 50%. I forgot to do though was I set them all to be exclusion rather than combine. There you go. All right, so you can see how that's starting to kind of come together and add a little bit more interest too. And then maybe we'll throw a few flowers in here. Then I think we can call it good. So let's make a little flower thing. real quick. So with the we'll actually do that in the next video.